Something is wrong in the nest. Not visibly, not to you. The log pile looks exactly as it always has. The garden is quiet. Nothing appears disturbed. But inside the nest, a mother hedgehog has noticed something that no human observer would detect. The Twitter calls that fill the nest chamber, the continuous contact calls of 4 hoglets maintaining warmth and position, have changed. The acoustic pattern is wrong. One voice is missing from the chorus. She counts by sound and by heat, and something is not there. What happens next? In the minutes and hours that follow, the moment a mother hedgehog realizes one of her hoglets is missing, is one of the most documented and least known behavioral sequences in British garden wildlife. It is urgent. It is precise. It is, in the most accurate biological sense of the word, a search. This is what it looks like. The mother hedgehog does not count hoglets the way a human counts objects. She counts through a combination of acoustic, thermal, and olfactory information processed simultaneously. The Twitter calls of hoglets serve multiple functions. They maintain contact with the mother. They signal hunger, cold, and distress. And they produce a collective acoustic signature in the nest that the mother learns within hours of birth. 4 hoglets produce a specific pattern of overlapping calls, a specific acoustic density, a specific thermal distribution of small bodies in the nest chamber. When one body is missing, all 3 signals change simultaneously. The acoustic pattern shifts, fewer voices, different overlaps, a gap where a specific call frequency was. The thermal signal changes. The nest is slightly cooler. The distribution of warmth across the chamber different. The olfactory signal changes. The combined scent of the litter, which the mother knows precisely, is incomplete. She does not consciously register all 3 inputs and then decide something is wrong. The behavioral response triggers before that. Before any process that could be called decision-making, she is already moving. The first thing she does is check the nest. Every surface, every corner, the entrance tunnel, the area immediately outside the entrance, where a very young hoglet might have rolled or crawled. This inspection is rapid and systematic, not panicked. The movements are focused. The nose works every surface in sequence. She is not searching randomly. She is eliminating the most likely locations in order of probability. Inside the nest first, under the nest material, against the walls, the entrance, then the immediate exterior, the space within 2 meters of the nest entrance, leaf litter, any cavity, the gap beneath the log pile where a hoglet might have fallen. The search radius expands outward from the nest in a pattern researchers describe as concentric. Closest locations first, then progressively further, each circuit covering new ground. This is not instinct in the sense of automatic, unthinking behavior. It is structured search. The structure exists because it is the most efficient way to find a small, immobile animal in a limited space. She has never been taught this structure. She executes it anyway. Before we continue, something worth thinking about. If you found a single hoglet alone outside a nest in your garden, small, perhaps squeaking, what would you do? Write it in the comments before you watch the rest of this video. The answer matters. And what most people would do instinctively is often the wrong thing. The missing hoglet, if it is alive, is producing sound, not the soft twitter of a content. Warm hoglet in a nest. Something different. The distress call of a separated hoglet is acoustically distinct from the contact twitter. It is louder, higher in frequency, more urgent in its rhythm. It escalates in intensity the longer the hoglet remains separated and cold. This call is designed, in the evolutionary sense, to be detected by the mother at distance. And it works. Researchers studying mother hoglet acoustic communication found that mother hedgehogs responded to recorded distress calls at distances significantly greater than the distances at which contact twitters were detectable. The distress call carries further. It is louder by design. A hoglet that has crawled or rolled out of the nest and is lying in the leaf litter nearby is producing this call continuously, growing more urgent with each passing minute as its body temperature drops. The mother, extending her search radius outward from the nest, is listening for it. When she locks onto the signal, when the directional hearing that serves her so well in hunting is turned to the task of locating a small calling animal, her movement changes. The systematic concentric search becomes directed. She moves toward the sound, and she moves quickly. The retrieval behavior of a mother hedgehog carrying a hoglet back to the nest is one of the most precisely documented maternal behaviors in the species. She approaches the hoglet from the direction that gives her the best grip. She takes it gently in her mouth, not by the scruff the way a cat carries kittens, but with a specific grip around the hoglet's midsection that prevents injury while allowing secure transport. She carries it directly back to the nest, not back along exactly the route she came, the most direct available route. The retrieval prioritizes speed over route familiarity, which is unusual for an animal that normally moves along established paths. The hoglet is placed back in the nest chamber. The mother immediately begins the inspection behavior, checking the hoglet's condition, its temperature, its responsiveness. She licks it, which serves both to clean it and to stimulate circulation and warmth. If the hoglet is cold, she repositions her body to cover it directly. The warmth of her body is the fastest available heat source, and then she settles. The acoustic pattern of the nest, 4 voices, the right thermal distribution, the complete scent profile, is restored. She has completed the search, in a garden that looked entirely undisturbed from outside, in the dark, silent while you slept. Not every search ends quickly. Not every hoglet is close to the nest. Not every distress call carries clearly through the acoustic environment of a complex garden. Not every missing hoglet is producing a call. A hoglet that has fallen into a container, rolled under a structure, or become entangled is often silent. When the immediate concentric search fails to locate the missing hoglet, the mother extends. Her range expands progressively. The search moves from the immediate nest area into the surrounding garden sections. She moves along the paths she knows, her established foraging routes, because a hoglet that moved at all would likely have followed a surface or edge, and edges coincide with the routes she knows. She works by scent as much as by sound in the extended search. A hoglet's individual scent, different enough from its siblings to be distinguishable by the mother, leaves a trail on any surface it has crawled across. She follows that trail where it exists. The extended search can last significantly longer than the initial rapid sweep. Documented cases from wildlife rehabilitation settings, where nest disturbance caused hoglet separation, show mother search behavior continuing for over 2 hours before the animal either located the hoglet or the search began to wind down. 2 hours, in a garden, at night, looking for something the size of a large grape. The commitment of the search is not in doubt. The most common cause of hoglet separation in garden environments is nest disturbance. A gardener who does not know a nest is present rakes through a leaf pile. A dog investigates something interesting under the shed. A lawnmower passes too close. In these cases, the mother is typically away from the nest, foraging when the disturbance occurs. She returns to find the nest changed. Not always destroyed. Sometimes simply disturbed enough that the hoglets have been scattered or exposed. Sometimes the nest material has been displaced, and a hoglet has rolled to a new location. Her response in this scenario involves an additional element not present in the simple separation case: nest assessment. Before retrieving scattered hoglets, she evaluates the nest site. If it has been compromised, if the structural integrity, the temperature stability, or the concealment are now inadequate, she may begin moving the entire litter to a new site. This is extraordinary behavior. A mother hedgehog moving hoglets to a new nest site carries each one individually. If she has 4 hoglets, and the new site is 15 meters away, she makes 4 separate retrieval and transport journeys. The entire process can take most of a night, and she continues foraging through it. The energetic demands of lactation do not pause during nest relocation. Here is something important. Knowing now that nest disturbance causes the mother to scatter and potentially abandon or relocate her hoglets, does it change how you think about garden maintenance between May and August, when hedgehog nests are most likely present? Write in the comments what you would do differently. This is practical information that genuinely affects hedgehog survival. The most difficult part of this story to tell, honestly. Not every missing hoglet is found. A hoglet that has fallen into a container, a bucket, a pond, a steep-sided water feature may not be audible from outside. A hoglet that has crawled into a space the mother cannot physically access may be detectable, but unreachable. In these cases, the search continues for as long as the distress call is audible. When the call stops, when the separated hoglet's body temperature drops below the threshold for call production, the acoustic guide is gone. The mother does not stop searching immediately. She continues on scent. But without the directional audio signal, the search becomes less efficient. The coverage continues, but the precision is reduced. At some point, the timing varies and there is no single documented threshold. The mother returns to the remaining litter. The biological imperative of the surviving hoglets overrides the continuing search for the absent one. This is not a decision. It is a biological resolution. The mother's behavior shifts back to nest-centered. The remaining hoglets receive her full attention. Their feeding, warmth, and development continue. The search ends. Not because she gave up in any human sense of that phrase, because the signals that guided the search have gone quiet. If you find a hoglet alone in your garden, the most important first decision is this. Do not assume it is abandoned. A single hoglet producing distress calls outside a nest is almost certainly separated. The mother is either searching for it or will return to search for it. The best immediate action in most cases is to leave the hoglet exactly where it is or move it gently to within a meter of where you found it if it is in immediate danger, and monitor from a distance. If the mother is nearby, she will find it. Your intervention, however well-intentioned, can interrupt the search. Human scent on a hoglet or near a nest causes the mother to pause her approach. It does not cause permanent abandonment in most cases, but it delays the reunion. If the hoglet is cold, immobile, and not calling, or if it has been alone for more than an hour with no sign of maternal return, contact a hedgehog rescue center. These situations require professional assessment. Do not offer food to a hoglet. Hoglets this young cannot process solid food. Do not offer milk. Do not attempt to warm it with direct heat sources. Warmth, if needed while waiting for rescue advice, can be provided by placing the hoglet in a box with a covered warm water bottle beneath a layer of soft material. Not touching the hoglet directly, just warm enough to stabilize. The mother hedgehog is doing everything the biology of her species has equipped her to do. Your job is not to replace her. It is to not prevent her from reaching the hoglet she is already searching for. The log pile in your garden in June looks completely undisturbed. The garden is quiet. Nothing appears to have happened. But at some point in the night, while you were asleep, a mother hedgehog conducted a systematic search of your garden for one of her hoglets. She found it, or she did not. Either outcome happened quietly, completely, in the dark. The nest is either whole again, the acoustic pattern restored, the thermal distribution correct, the scent profile complete, or it is smaller than it was at sunset. And the mother, whichever outcome she reached, has returned to the business of keeping the remaining litter warm and fed and growing toward the 6 weeks at which they will begin following her on the teaching routes through your garden. Your garden is a family home. It has been one for weeks, possibly, without you knowing. Inside the log pile, under the shed, in the overgrown corner, you never tidy. A mother and her hoglets conducting the most fundamental biology of their species in the space you share with them. The search you never witnessed is part of that, as real as any other event that happened in your garden last night, as important as any of them. If you discovered a hedgehog nest in your garden today, with hoglets inside, what would you do? Would you check on it? Leave it completely alone? Do something else? Leave your answer in the comments. Every video on this channel is built on documented research and genuine veterinary guidance. Real biology, no exaggeration. If that is what brought you here, you already know what to do.